Hello, everybody. I know this is a different way to do this, guys. I am on my phone this morning. I cannot see chat, so guys, please bear with me. We had to do this a very weird way. I had to come on as a guest, and I cannot see chat. For everybody out there that are the usual suspects that are here today, for anyone new, welcome so much. Welcome. Greetings, not Ryan Johnson. How are you doing today? How are you doing this morning? Do you got Outlaw? You know what, brother? My brother Thor just made sure this was going to be a tough one. What's his face, Mick? What not? Sit room. How are you doing, sir? Fires in the tires, yes, sir. R. Good morning. Yes, coffee. Lots of coffee. Lady Q, welcome, Lady Q. How are you doing this morning? Josh and Rebecca Momini. Do. How are you guys doing? Matt, yeah, tribbles. Lightning struck. We lost power. I'm on my phone today. Absolute insanity. Lori Roberts. Good morning, Lori. How are you doing this morning? Darth Haster, how are you doing? I cannot respond in chat. I do not have a chat up. So I am here with our guest, Sci-Fi Nation. How are you doing, Sci-Fi?
I am doing great this morning. Thank you for having me on the show, Loki.
Well, I'm glad I could, man. I'm glad I could. When I tried to pull this up on my phone, it would not let me host it. Luckily, the Valkyries were there immediately to help me out. They got this loaded up, and we're here. We're live. So, man, we talked the other day, and you were excited to come on. I'm so glad that you were able to make it, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing and your channel.
Okay, what I do with the channel is I try to do like reviews and retrospectives and just little different things with sci-fi related, um, like movies and shows. I might get into like doing reviews on games, maybe a game playthrough. I'm not sure. That's like something off in the future, but um, and then I do live streams like every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern or so. With Rambling Canuck, we have what's called Monday Night Mayhem. It's about an hour show, hour and a half. Uh, this last Monday was my channel, and this coming Monday will be on his. We alternate every week between his channel and mine, um, which is where we talk about what's stuff in the going on in the TV world, the movie world, or any old topic. We just kind of bounce around different, ideas or whatever's going on, type of stuff. Um, so yeah,
Well,
that's
that's cool. So you do video games too?
not yet. I haven't. I
Uh,
might. I might.
you might. Yeah, we were just doing the Final Fantasy remake playthrough, man. We had a lot of fun with that 20 streams.
Yeah, I've got that on my Xbox One and on Steam. So I remember playing that game back on the PS1.
Yeah, dude, so do I. 1997. What a
Yep.
time to be a gamer, man. What a time to be a gamer. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's definitely what I consider the golden era of gaming for me because
Yeah,
I started in the '80s, with like a Commodore 64, Atari type of stuff. So
yeah, that's when I started too. I grew up with an Atari controller in my hand, playing River Raid and Pitfall and all those, even ET. Oh, ET.
ET was worst. Wasn't
So
that the
what
game
kind
they
of
like buried like millions of copies of that game in the desert somewhere?
Yep, because they weren't playable.
Yep.
Which back then that did, nothing like that had ever happened before. Talk about needing a patch. They can patch stuff now. They couldn't do that then.
No, because once they print the chips and put them in the cartridge, that's it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I remember. I think the first time I ever heard of anything like that was on the old SNES. That there were different versions of a game. If there was some kind of um, fatal flaw, some kind of bug in the game, they actually updated it. And when they printed the new cartridges, when they did like a second edition, a second run of them, they'd have a patch in them.
Yeah, and then they had some deal because back then it was like really important to actually register your games back then when you bought them because of stuff like that did happen. So if it happened and you didn't register your game, you were kind of screwed. You had to buy the game all over again.
Yep. You had to buy the game all over again. In fact, we were talking Final Fantasy. The first time I ever remember them doing that is the American version of Final Fantasy 2. It was Final Fantasy 4 in Japan, but Final Fantasy 2 on Super Nintendo. That's the first time I can remember there being a 1.1 version of the game.
Yep. I didn't really play Final Fantasy then. I mean, I played Dragon Warrior 4 on the original Nintendo, but
yeah, I remember the first one having to get the Rainbow Bridge in the very first one to get to the Dragon Castle, and that was those fun games, awesome fun games back in the day.
Oh, they were. Actually, like kept your attention.
So, what kind of TV do you cover?
Um, a lot of Star Trek, obviously. I haven't done too much Horville. I want to try to start doing that. I want to try to get into the Expanse. I want to go into some of the like little bit older stuff, like Andromeda, Earth Final Conflict, uh, Buck Rogers, stuff like that. Stuff that's not normally covered, you know.
Yeah, me and Dave Bob on Thursdays just started covering Space Above and Beyond. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. It was like one season, but man, that was a heck of a show.
Yeah, that was a heck of a show. They had 23 episodes in all. I think they did a season and a half. The first season was, I think, 12 episodes, 10 or 12 episodes, and the next was 11 or 13. I know there's 23 episodes in all.
Okay, see, I just thought that was all like one season, but yeah, I did see that. That was a great series to watch. I do recommend it.
The Chigs, man, it was this, the aliens attacking Earth, and Earth stood on its own.
Yes, it did. It had to.
So
we
how
didn't.
did you go ahead?
No, you go ahead.
So are you a Star Trek fan?
Oh yes, I have been since TNG first premiered. So.
And how do you feel about what they're doing now?
I wasn't overly impressed with Discovery. We'll just say that. Picard, I felt, did a lot better. I know a lot of people don't like it, but my thing is this: I'm not going to go into a show expecting to hate it, okay? And I'm not going to base it on what actors say on social media or anything. And I know I'm in the minority with this, but when I watch a show, I want to watch a show for what it is. I want the show to talk to me. What is the show trying to tell me? Okay. And so with Picard, I think they did a lot better than they did with Discovery. I really do. And, me and Ramblin' were talking about they better nail those last two episodes, episode 9 and 10 of Picard, and they actually did a decent job. I mean, they could have done a couple things different, but overall, I think they accomplished what they wanted to for that first season.
That is an interesting take. I didn't like it. I watched it. I reviewed each episode with Dave Bob. That's what we were doing on Thursdays before we started looking for different things to do. And Dude, I felt like it was just life draining. We even nicknamed it the Machine off of the Princess Bride. You know, every episode, it just took 1 year of your life away. But I will agree that it was better than STD. I only made it through 4 episodes of STD. And I wanted to like Picard. Dave Bob just threw that in there. I wanted to like Picard. I went into that wanting to. I was excited, and unfortunately, as the episodes went on, you could hear us kind of wane in our enthusiasm of where it was going.
Mm-hmm. I think a big thing is people were expecting like what we know is Star Trek. Okay, there's got to be a ship, there's got to be a captain, this, that, and the third. I look at it this way: we're looking at life outside of Starfleet, so to speak. Okay, like civilian life in the Federation, but with people that were in Starfleet that still want to make a difference. And because when we watch Star Trek as we know it, we only see a very, very small fraction of the Federation, except for when they visit a colony or a planet. But we don't see the other 98% of the Federation. I mean, yeah, we know Earth is a virtual paradise. That doesn't mean the rest of the Federation is. You know, a lot of these colony worlds and colonies are not, even some member worlds are not the utopian paradise that Earth is.
Well, you saw that too. You saw that with the colonies that were in the Badlands in TNG, the colonies that were right next to the Cardassians, and I guess they called it the demilitarized zone. You saw that. What was the other? Even in what was it? Insurrection, when they accepted that member planet that had just discovered warp drive because of the Dominion War. They welcome that Eugene Chapeau, Lady Ambassador, which was to me the worst next gen movie they ever had. I hated Insurrection. I absolutely hated Insurrection. I felt like they came off of First Contact, which I liked and I still like. I know a lot of people don't, but I really liked First Contact. I thought that was their best movie.
Yeah, I that's probably my least favorite TNG movie. I mean, you know, it's Generations was even better than Insurrection. So.
And Generations had its problems. It's funny that TNG had such a good run, but after that there was so much like tripping. It was almost like they were tripping over their own feet, and I don't know whether that was because Paramount was in charge then. But I've got a script, an old First Contact script that had the Borg invading the Alpha Quadrant, multiple Borg cubes. Worf is on the Defiant and fighting with the Klingons at the beginning of the movie. It's not the battle of 001 with one Borg cube. This is a Borg invasion, hitting the Romulans, hitting the Klingons, hitting the Federation. And when the call goes out that the Borg are just about to attack Earth, Worf takes the Defiant, leaves Klingon space, and hauls ass to Earth. And yes, the Enterprise is kind of like on the sidelines as all of this is going on. But there's a much bigger battle, and Paramount shot it down. They said no, just do one cube, have it attack Earth, and that's it. And I thought that was the biggest mistake they could have made. That would have been a huge deal, to have the Borg just sweeping into the Alpha Quadrant trying to take out everybody.
Oh, that would have been a heck of a movie.
And sometimes stuff like that happens. You know, you see a script and you see these ideas and you're like, man, that sounds so badass. And like I said, I like First Contact. I just think they had a missed opportunity.
I think First Contact is probably my favorite TNG movie.
It was good. It was good. You had the conflict, and you had the how did warp drive happen? We all knew about Zephyr Cochrane.
Right, but up till that point, we had only seen him in a TOS episode.
Yep, that one TOS episode. You never really knew how did he make his first warp flight. What kind of ship did he have? And the fact that they took a missile, a nuclear missile, and turned it into the Phoenix, I thought that was absolute genius.
And I thought that was a perfect analogy to what Trek has always been, which was look at what we were, look at what we're becoming. Let's take the best of everything we are, or let's take the worst what we are, and instead of using it for destruction and wiping ourselves out, let's use it to make a better future. Which is, and it like goes to the human condition, which is what Star Trek is about.
Exactly. Like Picard says, we've learned to better ourselves. We're not worried about money. We're not worried about power. We're not worried about anything like that. We're worried about bettering ourselves.
Yep. And that was in one of the TNG episodes.
Yep.
I can't remember the name of it. It's like the very last episode of season 2 or season 1.
I'm not sure. I think the very last episode of season 2, wasn't that the one where Riker gets poisoned by that plant thing and has all those flashback memories or something?
Okay, it might have been season 1 then, because it's where they picked up 3 people off of a floating, like cryogenic stasis ship because they died, paid to have their bodies frozen.
Yep.
Okay.
And you had the country music star. How you doing, darling? You mean this thing will make alcohol? Woo-wee. Little Chopper Dan in there for everybody this morning.
I know. I was on or listening to a stream. It was a while back, but somebody said I still don't understand what pit wolfies are. Like it because Data didn't know either, and Riker didn't. And what they are, pit wolfies. It's just like let's go out and get some girls. low mileage pit wolfies, you know.
Yep.
And I like his take on it too. He was like he was rolling with it, and he was like, "Wow, nobody knows anything I did before. I can do it all over again. It'll be brand new."
That's right. It'll be brand new. Restart my singing career. Oh shit! And you know what, dude? That's what I loved about Star Trek is that the Federation. Yes, you had things happening in the galaxy. Was there slavery in the galaxy? Yes, there was slavery. Was there oppression in the galaxy? Well, of course there were. But humanity had found a way to rise above that. And it was dealing with it still being out there. Yes, it's still out there, but the Federation has moved past that. And every once in a while, you'd get, a bad egg. One of my favorite episodes of DS9 is when the admiral that Cisco used to work for brings him back to Earth and puts him at the head of Starfleet security, and he's setting up to take over so he can militarize the Federation. And Cisco has to fight that. Him and Odo have to fight that, and it's all because of the changelings. And he's using fear as a weapon.
And the thing, if I remember right, that turned out to be a false flag operation to create that fear.
Yep. That admiral had set it up so that basically he could have his way and militarize the Federation.
Basically, do a coup to take over the civilian government. I know there's a lot of debates. Is Starfleet military? Is it not? I don't know, because Enterprise, you had the Makos, which were literally the military arm of Starfleet. So, I mean, I don't know. Because they do have a military command structure. They do defend the Federation. So,
I know that in old canon, they still had Marines in Starfleet in Star Trek 6. I think it was yeah, I might be wrong. It was the guy Odo played in Star Trek 6.
Oh yeah, it if you saw the theatrical version, his little speech to the Federation president wasn't in the movie, but it was in the director's cut.
Yep.
But you still saw him at the end of the movie where he's disguised as a Klingon waiting to take out the president of the Federation.
Yep. And he had a group of Marines. He had a group of Marines that were going to go in and extract Kirk and Bones, and the president said no.
Right, yep, because the Romulan ambassador was there, the Klingon ambassador. They were all sitting there when he came in and said this. I'm like, wait, what? Why would those ambassadors be there if you're... that never made sense why the ambassadors would be there in like a top secret military planning.
And Hecate's daughter, I just saw your comment. It's not still up there, but I'll kind of paraphrase. Thank you, Purple. Hated First Contact because James Cromwell played Zephram Cochrane, who was a tall, drunken nutcase. When the original was played by Glenn Corbett, he was a quiet, moral man. Totally ridiculous.
Well, but there's also this. If you look at Zephram Cochrane's speech when Enterprise premiered, he was a drunken nutcase in First Contact, yes. But then he came to realize the overall meaning of what this meant, and he saw the progress humanity was making ever since he invented warp drive and the Vulcans came, and just realizing, hey, we got to start thinking, beyond this,
Yeah, and I thought that's the beginning of the change. That is the beginning of the change. I wanted to retire to a secluded island surrounded by naked women. And then by Enterprise, he's the one giving the speeches. He's the one telling everyone, hey, we can make a brighter future. We can all work together. We can all work together with the Vulcans. We can all come together and make a brighter future. And I thought it was really funny in the episode. I didn't like this episode because I didn't like them bringing the Borg in. But in the episode where the Enterprise runs into the Borg, they talk about him getting drunk one night, which was completely, quote, out of character, for him. Mm-hmm. And talking about some race of super advanced technological beings, basically talking about what really happened at First Contact and how everybody just kind of blew it off and forgot about it.
Right. But see, the thing is, even if he was thinking about that brighter future, that doesn't mean he still wouldn't sit down, have a few drinks, kick the jukebox so it would start playing. I mean, it's still Zephram Cochrane. I mean, just because you change your world outlook doesn't necessarily change your personal habits.
That's right. And he was still him, but he knew he had a role to play. I don't want to be a statue. Well, he's going to end up one. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
He's going to end up a statue. He knew he was going to end up a statue, but he knew that the reason why he had to do that was to be the icon everyone needed. I have a larger responsibility, and every once in a while, he slipped back into that. And Lady Q makes a wonderful observation. In Companion, the being said she had to repair Cochrane. She had to change him. Yeah.
And that, could have been, well, maybe the Companion figured this guy likes to get drunk and rowdy, so let's fix that part of him. Who knows? Yes,
anybody out there who saw that, Captain Trek just threw out his GoFundMe. If you guys can do anything to help Captain Trek, please give him a hand. He is looking at a horrible surgery he's going to have to do.
Yes, Captain Trek is an awesome member of this community, so if anyone has the means to help him, please do.
So, what are you looking at besides Star Trek? Yeah, you said the Orville. Are you an Orville fan? Are
Oh,
you? Are you?
I love the Orville.
You know, when I first heard about the Orville and people started talking, there were people that said it's insane. You can't have Seth MacFarlane in charge of something like this. And I was like, are you kidding? He is the perfect person to be in charge of something like this. He loves Star Trek.
He made a Star Trek fan film when he was a kid. I think it's still on YouTube. To
Yeah,
be
it
honest with you.
is.
So he's been a Trek fan since he was a kid. That'd be like one of us getting a chance to make a TV show. If we could emulate our favorite TV show, we would. And that's what he did.
Yeah, that's exactly what he did. And he has done it very, very successfully, in my opinion.
One thing it did kind of remind me of, kind of the way it was put together, the visuals, the humor. Do you remember the movie Galaxy Quest?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite films of all time.
Now, I had, like, this is my own headcanon, so, take it with a grain of salt. But, like, my own headcanon was like, okay, so you got Tim Allen, which is basically playing, like, the same character Seth plays almost, right? But except, well, it's different because Galaxy Quest, was just a TV show, and then the aliens saw it, came, and you know how the movie goes. But
yeah.
But what if those two universes were the same universe?
Yeah, it's possible. It is completely possible.
I mean, that's just my own like headcanon theory. Like we know, obviously, as it is right now, it's not. But I just thought that'd always be like a cool crossover.
Yeah, if well, you could almost say that if the Orville was born from that in that actual timeline, in that universe, if let's say Galaxy Quest actually happened and eventually humanity finds out that yes, space travel is possible, yes, there are other life forms on other planets, and join forces with that alien race, and eventually that's through what Orville's like 300-400 years in the future.
Yeah, right, roughly the same time as like TNG, I thought.
So that would be, I mean, you could say 300-400 years after that event. Sure, you could totally say that. And Heiress of Chaos, the Orville is Star Trek to me. It's Star Trek to me too.
It is.
It is Star Trek to me too.
It is. There. You can have shows that have the name Star Trek in front of them. That doesn't necessarily make them a Star Trek show. Like for one, I'll say Discovery for one. But now, like Picard, I would still consider that Star Trek. Might not be the Star Trek we all know and love, but it's still Star Trek. They keep to the Star Trek. I know I'm going to get the word wrong. Mythos. Like the general fundamental ideas behind Star Trek. And Picard was usually the one when he was given a Picard speech in the episode that made it feel that way. With his actions, his speeches. And obviously he's not the same Picard from TNG. I mean, he's like 80 some years old, literally in life and in the show. So there, that's why I feel Picard was definitely a lot better than Discovery.
Well, I could at least watch. I at least got through the first season of Picard. I could say that. I did not get through STD. For everybody out there that doesn't know, I only made it through 4 episodes of STD. That's it. After 4 episodes, I was done.
I remember when they first premiered it, like the very first episode of that was like free on over the air. And I watched it, and then I don't know, it's like I had a headache the entire time I watched it, and I thought, well, maybe I'm tired. I don't feel good, so I'll go back and watch it online later. I did. And like literally the first few opening scenes of the first episode, it's like, WTF
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, running around on a ship with a phaser backwards. Well, that's, I think that was a real big defining moment, because it was Star Wars. What happened? What was going on with Star Wars, and then Star Trek, that brought a lot of us in the community together. A lot of us came together and were like, this is crap. This is the biggest bunch of crap we've ever seen. Was STD and The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Max World Entertainment, for all you hardcore Star Trek fans out there, make sure you watch Please Stand By. Seriously, one of the best Star Trek stories out there right now. And I want to give a shout out to Trey real quick. Have you seen the preview for his new fan film?
For Treys Fan Film?
Yep.
No, but I will check it out right after the stream.
Dude, absolutely. Dude, the visuals are perfect. It looks awesome, dude. It looks absolutely awesome. I was like, damn, dude. And it's even got, like, the music even has kind of like a Quentin Tarantino vibe to it. I always wanted to see that. I forget who I was talking about that with the other day. I could see if Quentin Tarantino had done a Star Trek film, I could see the Klingons, kind of like walking with their guns up through the ship, through the Enterprise, and you got the Tarantino music, bow, 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 bow,
Yep.
bow, 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 and they're like kind of bobbing as they're walking, like bow, now, getting ready to shoot and blast people. Dude, it would have been epic. I would have loved that. Well, I don't care what anybody says. I would have loved a Star Trek Quentin Tarantino movie.
I would have too. And see, I had heard that he was in talks to do the fourth, like JJ verse Trek movie. But then like Chris Pine backed out. The guy that played Spock backed out. They just, and plus, Chekhov, obviously, the guy that played him, rest in peace. But
yeah, dude, that was so messed up how he died.
Yeah, he didn't have his Jeep put in, or whatever car he had put in park all the way. He went behind it and it
got crushed. Oh, man. And he was such a good kid, dude. That, you know what? I know a lot of people talk shit about the JJ movies, and I understand why. I loved the cast. I wasn't sold on Pine as Kirk, but for the most part, I loved the cast. I loved Carl Urban as Bones, man. I loved Carl Urban as Bones.
Yeah, he did a great job. And the guy that played Scotty, Simon, is his name?
Simon Pegg.
Yes. I mean, if you picture Scotty that young, right, compared to how he is on TOS, because even in the later original series movies, like the movie era movies, he still has that, sarcastic, so I could totally see Scotty being like that, coming out of the academy or just coming off of a desolate outpost because of what he did to Archer's dog. But
yeah, Archer's beagle, his prized beagle, never rematerialized.
Poor Porthos.
Yeah. Would Porthos even been alive then?
I don't know. It might have been a different beagle. See, because that was Archer would have been like in his 80s, 90s, 100s by then. So yeah, it probably was a different beagle. But
the fact they even included that, that they were still trying. They were still trying to connect everything and keep canon. Even though they changed it, even though they were like, oh, we're in a different timeline. Loriano Creo, good morning. Engineers have built-in sarcasm. I should know. I'm an engineer. Hell yes.
And the thing with the JJ movies, at least they came right out and said, this is a different timeline. Once you get to the part where Spock goes back or goes through the wormhole, as I call it, that effectively changed the timeline.
Yep.
So I had no problem with things being different. Now, did I think like some of the ships were ugly as all get out? Yes. But,
Yeah.
you know, I had no problem with things being slightly different because they came right out and said this is a different timeline. So,
Eris of Chaos comments, when prepping for the role, Carl Urban watched all of TOS and studied DeForest Kelly's face movements to make sure it was as accurate as possible. Love him. And I completely agree.
yes.
Absolute. He nailed it. He nailed it. Do you have none tongue, Jim? None tongue?
I can fix that.
I can fix that. Oh, man.
Green-blooded hobgoblin.
All I have left is my bones. And Kirk's like, bones. Ex-wife took everything in the divorce. All she left me was my bones.
Yeah.
And that, you know what? That they kept the spirit there. And that's what's important, is that the spirit's there.
Yes.
That's what the Orville has captured. The Orville has captured the spirit of Star Trek. It's not just that it's episodic. It's not just that it's got similar aspects. It's the heart's there. That's what's the most important thing. If you've got a fan film that looks exactly like Star Trek, but it doesn't have the heart of Star Trek, then you're going to lose everybody. But if it's got the heart, if the heart of Star Trek is there, then you've got it. Whether you're on a set made out of cardboard or a set that cost you $200,000 to make, if the heart's there, then you've got fans that are going to watch it and love it.
Absolutely. And there's a well, you know him, Vance Major from No Budget Productions, shoots all of his scenes on a cell phone, and then whatever effects you see are done in post by great friends of his that do it on their own time. And you know, it's obviously a fan film, but the heart and soul of Trek that he puts into the writing, that he gets from the people playing these parts, they're not actors by any means, but it's just the way he does those films. It's the product he puts out, and it's just amazing the work that Vance does.
It is absolutely amazing. And we had a hiccup there. I don't know if that was on my end, but we're now switched. So we're on the opposite sides, everybody. It's a mirror universe, folks. We just slipped into the mirror universe, and I'm on the right and Sci-Fi's on the left.
The stream can go anywhere now.
That's right. It can go anywhere now. So I want to make sure you get a chance. If one of the Valkyries or one of the wrenches can please throw Sci-Fi Nation's link to his channel in the chat. I want to make sure that everybody knows how to get to your channel. And is there anything else you want to throw out there before we for today?
No, just check out my channel if you like the content. Like, I haven't put out any like actually produced videos in a while, but like I said, as I told you before we went live, I've got new equipment coming because I just want to put that extra spit and polish into my channel, put out quality content for everybody. That's why I've been holding off putting out content besides the live streams. So yeah, just check it out. If you like what you see, subscribe. I do appreciate everybody that subscribes, watches my stuff, comes to live streams. I love hanging out with everybody in the chat. I do try once a week to go live and have like a panel, just so everybody can get together and chit chat and whatnot. So,
well, if you ever want to throw me an invite, dude, I would love to come on and hang out with you again. I know we're cutting it a little short today, guys. My phone feels like it's about to burn through my hand. It is that hot, guys, and my battery's quickly losing charge. I know this was completely chaotic today, And thank you so much to the Valkyries, and thank you, Sci-Fi Nation, for having patience. I wanted to get a chance to talk to you more this morning before we went live, and of course during the stream. And the way I tried to get it to host this on my phone, and for whatever reason it wouldn't. And the Valkyries were right there to be like, "Hey, we got it, boss." So,
absolutely. Thank you so much to the Valkyries for holding this together for Loki, and everybody check them out. And Loki, you're welcome up over on my channel anytime, bud.
awesome. I would love to. I would love to guest on your channel, bud. Absolutely love to. Guys, I cannot see you in chat. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Thank you so much. I know this is the weirdest damn stream I've ever done because I'm doing it on my phone, but thank you. I cannot see your comments. Kathia Star, thank you. Everybody, thank you so very much for putting up with this while we went through this. Yeah, Mr. CCDB, yeah, phones equal, yes. Yeah, very warm with the space and whatnot. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Lady Mist, thank you. Thank you. You take care and be safe. Everyone have a great weekend. And Sci-Fi Nation, I would love to have you on again when it's a little less chaotic and we have a chance to talk a little bit before the show and hang out a little bit. And thank you. Thank you again for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Just, let me know when.
All right, guys, we're going to close it out. Thank you again. Everyone have a great weekend and catch the Valkyries. The Valkyries are going to be on in an hour and 20 minutes. So make sure you catch that show too. And we'll see you later.
Peace.